Not only has AI changed how we do programming and coding, it's also shuffled all the cards on how we screen, interview, and hire tech talent or AI engineering talent. Now, if you look to the big guys, Anthropic, you can't use an AI assistant. Google moved everything to on-sites. Meta used a combination of AI assistants and not. Twitter send you home to do a clone of Twitter or X and bring it back and have pen test run on it. Everyone's doing something different. No one really knows. And so I've hired and interviewed people for positions, and I talk to a lot of people and friends, and I try to curate some ideas and concepts that are very practical that I'm going to share with you in the next video. I'll also include an open source repo with everything so you can browse it and take that and spin that or use that as an inspiration or borrow on top of it, or even best, put PRs against the repo so we can contribute and grow. And I hope that the next few minutes save you hours and days and make it easier, both as a candidate and as a potential employer, to find and hire good AI engineers. So if you find it useful, please click like and subscribe. That really helps. And let's jump into the examples. So the first and the easy part is questions, which we can ask on the phone and an on-site. Everyone knows it. So if we look into the questions, I would ask people, what does your CLAUDE.md contain today? And also, how often do you change it? And the CLAUDE.md does a lot of stuff. I'm looking for people to talk about behavioral rules more than structural. If they're just talking about letting the agent know where it is, not only is that an alpha that shrinks, and alpha is the difference between what the model does today and what it will do in the future, or they don't have any awareness of length, they don't delete stuff from it, or they don't understand where that fits in the overall context. It's before, after the prompt. Those are types of understanding to understand how the mechanics of the LLMs work. Another question, how did AI change how you approach engineering, and where does your time allocation go to? And this is where we're looking for people saying, oh, I try to fix it and change it, without understanding that the majority of the time should be spent in planning and aligning with the model, setting up loops correctly and making sure the verification happens okay, or how we automate that, how we classify things, and how we move faster are really, really, really important parts. Bonus point if that person talks about planning and how we change planning and planning in different ways. How often do you disagree? Walk me through the last time. Again, I would talk about where does it fit? How do you catch it? It could also go into observability and drive into production. It creates very interesting conversations where you can also talk about the failure modes of agents and what do they see and what type of failure modes do they see, and see their understanding and their depth. What guardrails is a really good follow-up question to that one. And again, if he thinks CLAUDE.md or AgentsMD is a guardrail, that's a problem. We want to look at deterministic things, hooks, pre-commit hooks, semgrep, verification gates, not just CI. CI is just another point. If they talk about CI, what is the cost benefit of it, tokens or time, etc. Walk me through using AI to debug a production issue. And again, this is going back to observability, to patterns, to understanding intent. And we're talking here about if he's connected MCP tools to triage, what is the cost of MCP tools? It opens a discussion around context, or just letting AI constantly just reach again and again. And we're trying to identify the depth and also see how they tackled real scenarios with AI. How do you review code today? Walk me through the process. This one is a landmine, right? And I even have a full video just on PRs. How do you handle them? Do you triage them? Do you bucket them into trenches? Do you do blast radius? Do you get it to read it back to you? Where do you do that? How do you do that across the team? What is your workflow, etc.? Are really good questions around that. And it can also leak from one to another. When do you stop prompting and change the direction is when you stop just hammering it. We're looking here for stop conditions, for the loop design, for a lot of things in a bit of a backwards way to see how much that person can understand from one thing the intent. And these are intentionally set a little bit to the sidelines for him to come back. Your teammate ships 15 PRs per day. What do you change about the team's process? And here we're looking for accountability. How does he diagnose it? What kind of PRs they do? What kind of does he do? How does he create the velocity? And how do we handle this flood? No right answer. A lot of these are more to see his thinking and how a candidate does do things. A company shipping daily, what needs to be updated? We're talking about the config files, the agent files, the gates, the workflow, the model choices, and that needs to be constantly reevaluated. And that is something really important for a candidate to understand. You can continue in asking questions like RAG and how does LLM work, but all of those are already out there by many people. I tried to bring some unique and different perspective to the questions, but feel free to steal them, change them, or even send a PR against this repo, and happy to add more questions to it. After the questions comes the exercises, and these are small contained exercises that I give them agent access because I want to simulate the work environment, not test them on something new. And I have a few suggestions here, and again, these are just for inspiration. You can do intent outside the repo. So I give an exact acceptance criteria and they build it, or we build it ourselves and give it to them. They need to debug and go through that and kind of understand that we're filtering on the wrong financial column and it doesn't align, but that requires some thinking, and the code looks okay and it looks like it runs, it works, but then we kind of go, will they uncover the intent is outside the repo, and then will they detect it themselves, or we can play a mock interview with the business owner, and that's kind of understanding that intent is important. We have one as which one will ship. We give them 3 PRs of different depth. One has more abstraction, one has less, and ask them which one will they ship. They need to walk through the different criteria, and understanding of how do I make these decisions really important. Or a huge PR. We give them a repo with an app and give them this gigantic PR, and they need to work backwards through it and prioritize it and understand it and talk about blast radiuses and more, and to understand how that person works and approaches many of the problems that we see today. So after the exercises that could be done over a text screen or on the phone or in person, we want to give the person a really big task. And this could be either done in an on-site with 4 or 5 hours working with an agent, or give it a take home and see how he builds. You can whiteboard ideas first, see how he thinks in design stuff, or skip that and then layer it out like a CRM, and after that we start adding deal pipelines, etc., or an order and inventory and reservations that expire, or a help desk with SLAs, or just take your own app and ask him to build your own app, or invent something else. Just think big and let him do everything, including deploy, maybe give him a little part of your infra, or have him run it on DigitalOcean on a trial account. Think big and audacious and see how that person is able to push through and what he's able to deliver with AI. That simulates really, really good indication of how good a person is working with AI. So there you have it. 9 different questions, 3 smaller format exercises or screens, and a couple of big ideas for an on-site or a take-home. All of these are different ways, and again, the core of it, you don't have to use those. You can do architecture like we discussed, you can run those questions, you can tailor your own, you can mix and match. The idea is that the bottleneck shifted from creating code, and we're talking more about accountability and understanding intent and being able to make right judgment calls and being able to see the system as a whole from a high level. And this is where we are today, mid-2026, and this might change some more. So take that into account. But if we start looking for people that have taste, have accountability, are able to hold a lot of context and understand in business intent, you're talking at the builders, those are the people you want to target and focus your efforts on. So I hope you found this video helpful. If so, please click like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.